37 of the government shutdown, now the longest in U.S. history. President Trump, citing the poor election results for Republicans, is increasing pressure on GOP senators to end the filibuster. The Maldives is now the first country to ban smoking for an entire generation of people. Anyone born in 2007 or later cannot buy or use tobacco products. And hockey player Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals last night became the first player to score 900 goals. Stay connected today. Keep listening to 90.9 WBUR. It's 48 degrees here in Boston.
President Trump's reciprocal tariffs get a rough ride in the highest of courts.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Schwab. Schwab offers investors choices like full-service wealth management, self-directed investing options, and trading on Thinkorswim. More at schwab.com.
I'm David Brancaccio in Los Angeles. U.S. Supreme Court justices yesterday heard the arguments and asked questions about whether an emergency powers law from back when disco was first hitting the charts can be used by a president to overhaul international trade and raise taxes without getting Congress to go along. I spoke this morning with Jess Braven, Supreme Court correspondent for the Wall Street Journal, who listened to every word yesterday. I asked him if justices were buying what the administration was selling.
No, they weren't. And it was interesting to hear them talk about it because, we've been going for months with a bunch of unexplained emergency orders that have largely gone the administration's way. So to hear the justices grilling Solicitor General John Sauer and really having skeptical questions about the administration's position was a reminder that the Supreme Court does take these cases one by one, and it's not a slam dunk, even for a president who has gotten so far pretty much everything he's asked for.
All right, so many issues on the table during that session. Let's listen to two justices, the Chief Justice as well as Justice Sotomayor, on a similar subject. Here's John Roberts.
The vehicle is imposition of taxes on Americans, and that has always been the core power of Congress.
And Sotomayor?
I just don't understand this argument. It's not an article. It's a congressional power, not a presidential power to tax. And you want to say tariffs are not taxes, but that's exactly what they are.
Now, Jess, this is important, right? Because we learn in civics class that Congress has the taxing power in America.
The most telling thing for the administration's chances was trying to characterize tariffs as a diplomatic measure, a foreign policy measure to pressure other countries to see things Washington's way. But the Supreme Court accepted the challenger's view that taxes are different. There may be all kinds of things that the president can do, like perhaps a complete trade embargo, but taxes are different because they are about raising revenue. John Sauer insisted that raising revenue was not the point of these tariffs.
All right, but you do have moments where justices express concern about taking away this power from the White House. Here's Brett Kavanaugh.
Think about India right now, the tariff on India, right? That's designed to help settle the Russia-Ukraine war.
So, an intense international issue. How can you tie the president's hands seems to be the thrust of that line of inquiry.
Well, that's true, and that is a point that the court has to explore. And there is no doubt that tariffs are a tool the president has. And one thing that the government stressed, the Solicitor General stressed, was that the president should have greater deference from the courts when it comes to foreign affairs, which is one of the things that the president typically takes the lead on, and courts are often reluctant to second guess. And Kavanaugh was, as you said, very, very sympathetic with the president's needs. Perhaps he will agree with President Trump on this one.
And this was not just about